Paul, tough gig. Port Douglas, Cairns. Now, was it as tough to shoot as it looked, or was it the middle of summer, or winter time?
Mia, I I would say, look, the end product is unbelievable for, some of the conditions that we were filming in, right, Mia? Like it was, 38 degrees, the humidity was at 95%, long hours, a short shoot. So yeah, I'm glad it looks amazing.
And I feel like there's worse places to be than Port Douglas. Like I go to holidays at Port Douglas. Like it's a beautiful place to be. And like on the weekends we'd just like go to other all the resorts and swim in the pools. Like it was a pretty good life up there, not gonna lie. Like any job was hard, but it was good.
It was amazing.
I want to ask you both about the closeness of the cast. Was there an instant rapport, or was there a long rehearsal period to get what we see on screen? How were those early days?
I mean, Mia, I think, we bonded quite quickly, and I think a lot of us did in the cast purely because it was quite a long audition process in which, it was COVID. So we had a million Zoom meetings and that kind of thing. And then we all went into quarantine, 4 of us girls, prior to the shoot. So we'd all sort of communicated that away. And then when we arrived, it was like instant friends.
Yeah, no, we all got along really well. And we all hang out all the time when we got back from Port Douglas, because obviously, as Georgia May would also know from like, any job that you do, you usually become super tight with people and then you literally never see them again until there's like a second season, or like there's some people I just have not ever seen again. And I was like this close with for 4 months. So after this job, it was probably the first job where they kind of became my best friends in real life, which was really nice to see, because you never really know, especially in Port Douglas. Like, you wouldn't say you're trapped up there, but with COVID, you kind of it's such a small little town that it's like a little bubble. It doesn't feel like real life. So I was kind of thinking, like we'll probably go back to Sydney and everyone will just sort of go back into their normal lives. But we all just stayed really close. So yeah, no, what you see on screen is very natural.
Now, in the casting of the show, did you use the old actors trick where they say, "Can you ride a horse?" and straight away you say, "Of course I can ride a horse," because even if you've never ridden a horse, could you all dive? Do you all have your driver's license?
We do now.
We do now. I mean, I had been diving a couple of times, like just on holidays and whatnot. So I really loved being underwater, but I mean, scuba diving at depths of 18 meters was a whole nother level of experience. So we're all qualified now. So any more diving shows, hit us up.
Yeah.
As a licensed diver myself, I was very cautious to watch the decompressing, the holding the nose, and all the little touches that are very often ignored in diving shows. But it seemed very real.
Yeah. No, for sure. We only had about 2 cameramen down there and a safety instructor, maybe 1 or 2 safety instructors. So it was very it didn't feel like you were on set when you were underwater. They just were filming you as you were sort of diving. So it was very safety was the forefront of of all of the diving experiences that we had.
And even what you were saying about, Simon, about the, there's little nuances that real divers would know and pick up on land, we really did try to learn those things. So how do you hold your hands correctly, and how do you actually put on a mask, and the correct language? So we just kind of got that into our bodies. So when we were down there, it, looked like we knew what we were doing more than what we did.
Mia, I want to ask you, your character, I guess what really surprised me about the show is that it skews a bit older. And I'll be frank with you here, that the title Dive Club, sort of in my mind, it conjures the Saddle Club, or it conjures the Babysitters Club. And when I watch it, in fact, it's not that. It's more that sort of late teen drama, that early 20s drama, like a Dawson's Creek. And I found that really interesting, the way that played out. And Mia, your character, Maddie, she's dealing particularly with the themes of loss, that she's an orphan. And I mean, you get the close up when they bring in the boat with that Maddie was on, and you get the teary close up when the Indy comes back in. So you're sort of carrying a lot of the darker themes of this show. how did you feel about exploring that as a character?
I think as an actor, you really always want complexities with your character. You want to be able to show the audience and, people watching your sort of capabilities and how, the different ranges in which you can act. So as soon as I saw that I was going to be able to like tackle all of those complexities, it was really enjoyable for me. I thought, okay, this is great. I can push myself, I can challenge myself and sort of put myself through these experiences as Maddie. And I was really excited to see how that would go, because Maddie is sort of like my dream character to play. I always wanted to play like just the kind, friendly, smart one of the group. Like she's not, like she's not malicious in any way. She's not trying to show off. She just like is herself. And that was always like my dream character. So I was more than happy to sort of like be able to channel Maddie's like sort of like struggles in life. And I thought that was really endearing to be able to sort of take on. But yeah, I do have to admit, when I did see the Indy being dragged in, I was like, because we had to do that take so many times, and I was like, okay, I got to like keep the stamina up. I got to keep like the glassy, watery eyes. And I just pictured like Georgia May like unconscious on the boat coming in, and that just made me bawl. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. Georgia May was probably the first girl that I really clicked with. We would like sort of spend time together in hotel quarantine, walking around the courtyard. So she was probably the first person I clicked with. So it was very easy to get emotional. I pictured that Georgia May was actually lost at sea. So yeah, I usually have to give myself some sad scenarios in my head to pull it out, and some things are just so sad. But yeah, imagining Georgia May lost at sea was it for me.
Georgia May, I want to ask you, I mean, they provided us with 3 episodes to watch, and after the 3 episodes, I guess you're slightly different from the other 4 characters in that you've got to portray this sort of shining light at the center of their worlds, and everything about you was all smiley and happy and about this past life.
Totally.
But I imagine it's going to go darker.
Yeah, look, it's definitely going to get much darker. Essentially, my character sort of knows the secrets or all of the bad things or the sort of stuff that's been going on in the town that, isn't right. And this is why she's gotten herself into this situation. So it's so strange to see all these happy, quick moments, because a lot of the scenes I did, I was, covered in dirt and heavily bruised and, raggedy clothes, which you will see throughout the show. And a lot of my scenes were quite high stress and a lot of crying and very, emotionally triggering stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to see the rest of it actually. Because like you said, only those smiley moments so far.
Yeah, and and I want to come back to the point I was making about it being skewing a bit older. You've got a character who's done some jail time, and Maddie's an orphan as well. There's this darker dramatic element. Do these scripts come along very often? Is this something that was a very competitive sort of casting period because of the quality of the production?
I mean, Mia, I'm not sure for you just with the start of the casting, but I would say it was definitely a role I had to fight for, in the sense that, it was quite a long process. It was over COVID, so it kept getting pushed back. You never really knew if you had gotten it. So for me, it wasn't until I was really on the plane that I sort of was like, wow, this is going to be an amazing opportunity. And to get a script that I just couldn't put down is so rare. So I think that's why I was really excited by this production.
Yeah, there's nothing really like that out there. Like you don't see many like far north Queensland tropical Australian teen mystery with scuba divers. Like that's just like the most random combination, but it works so well. But yeah, it was a really hard process auditioning just because of COVID, things getting pushed back, but also like there was so much competition for all of the roles, because essentially I think we all auditioned for Lauren and Izzy just to like see see who could do what, and just to like have the characters out there, and then everybody sort of got filtered into their position. I remember at one point I was actually in the Gold Coast filming another series, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go get a train to Brisbane and meet the producers and just like try to convince them that I should be Maddie. And that's exactly what I did. And then I walked out feeling pretty good about it. And then next minute we're all in quarantine waiting to go to Queensland. So I was like, well, at least that worked.
Can you give us any inside information about a series 2? I know it's going to the channel 10, the network 10 channels, and then it's on to Netflix. My fingers are crossed that it heads into a second series.
Yeah.
Inside tack.
Well, look, we probably know as much as you, but from what we've seen and heard from the producers and, you know, just the network itself, it's been really positive. The screening we did, you know, the target audience was there and we got some great reviews from that. So I think season 2 has already sort of started to be written. Whether that gets picked up or not is another story, but all fingers, and even the end of the story in general leads to needing a second series. It ends on a massive cliffhanger.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Mia, you ready for another shoot? Ready for another few weeks up north?
I would be so keen. I mean, right now in Sydney, it is freezing. So all I can think about is laying by the pool. I love working as well, but like the location was great. But no,
it sounds so easy, Mia.
It wasn't that easy. The downtime was good. But no, I think that fans, once they see the season, it would be unfair to not give them a season 2.
Couldn't agree more.
So true.
MIAH Madden, Georgia May Davis, thank you so much for being on Screen Watching. All the very best with the launch of this series. I can't wait to see the remaining episodes, and fingers crossed you'll be back in the sun soon.
Awesome.
Thanks, Simon. Nice to talk to you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.